this live?
Not yet. Yes, it is. It is so much more enjoyable to do these when, well, FAU wins. It just feels better, it enriches the soul, and, well, if anything's going wrong in your life, it just makes you feel better and like you're going to come out the other side. Florida Atlantic Voice presented by Robes Law Group, ROBES, robeslawgroup.com, presenting partner of the Florida Atlantic Voice, and we appreciate them as always. The only reason, I want to reiterate this, the only reason that we can be out here and do what we do at Biergarten in Boca Raton for this Monday Night Live is Robes Law Group, personal injury lawyers, ROBES, robeslawgroup.com. All right, so Florida Atlantic, and this is Damon Arnette, by the way. I'm Ken LaVicka, and we appreciate you tuning into the Florida Atlantic Voice. A reminder, there's going to be an audio portion of this after the fact, but subscribe to the Florida Atlantic Voice podcast wherever you get your podcasts, or subscribe to the YouTube version of this show where some of you are watching right now, or you'll watch it after the fact. So Damon Arnette, I am Ken LaVicka, and Florida Atlantic, as was discussed yesterday and the day after, 27-21, that win over Rice was not indicative of how well FAU played. And you know about that, Damon, just like we talked about last week with the Memphis game.
Right.
55-26, that was not indicative of how well FAU played for vast stretches because they were within 5 with 9 minutes left to go in that game, and then the bottom fell out. You know, you played high-level college basketball. You played pro basketball. There are a lot of games, in fact, where the score doesn't tell the full story, and even in a win, FAU deserved to win by more. A win is a win, I understand that, but that's pretty common that, hey, you played well, maybe there's a little bit of a late charge that the other team makes, and you know as well as anybody that is absolutely a thing pretty commonly.
And what normally happens, no matter what sport you're playing, when that does, as you mentioned, that is very common, there's a breakdown somewhere. Either a team is not finishing the game properly, or the team that's coming back now decides to play and doesn't have a lot of errors, or they're really appreciating and respecting and valuing each possession. And so there are reasons why it doesn't just happen, but usually there's some type of breakdown on one side or another that's allowing that comeback or that ferocious charge down the home stretch.
You know what was bizarre about this game is Rice running that option offense. It's run, and then because they were desperate, they're down 2 scores, they started to pass, and it was clear that the FAU defense, you know, they were so honed in on the run that when they had to actually cover the pass, it became a little bit problematic, and that was a desperate offense on the other side, but FAU's offense was able to come back out onto the field. Remember, I told you last week that Rice had not faced a passing offense like FAU's all year long. I said it yesterday. Listen to this. So going into Saturday, Rice's secondary was allowing only a 55.1% completion rate on its pass defense. FAU threw for 70% in the game. So everything we talked about maybe Rice could be hit via the passing game came to fruition. Caden Veltkamp was absolutely awesome. And in case you're scoring at home, because I know we talked about this, ended up going with the Tex-Mex in Houston for dinner. No steak, no barbecue.
How was it?
It was great.
Tex-Mex,
It was great. It was great. Love Houston. Love South Texas. So can't wait to go back there. We go to Rice for basketball. That's going to be our only time we play Rice during the course of the basketball season.
Well, the food is pretty much all the same no matter where you go in the state of Texas. You're going to have Tex-Mex throughout the entire state.
It just means more in South Texas.
It just means more in South Texas.
It meant more when we used to go to El Paso, but we don't do that anymore. So,
well, San Antonio's going to have some good Tex-Mex.
Oh, yeah.
Don't we go to UTSA?
We do go to UTSA. You're right. Well done. I feel good about that. For those of you watching live right now, hit the chat. Get your questions in. Get your impressions of the game, your observations of the game. We're still taking those before we look ahead to UAB, which is going to be 6 o'clock, and it's going to be Saturday, and it's homecoming, and it's family weekend, and it's Hall of Fame weekend. 3 former FAU football players being inducted in the Hall of Fame. Trey Hendrickson, multi-time Pro Bowler with the Bengals, last year's sack champion in the NFL. Harrison Bryant, Mackey Award winner from 2019, and one of the best corners to ever play at Florida Atlantic, statistically the best, Dijon Smith, going into the Hall of Fame as well. So all of that happening this weekend. At Flagler Credit Union Stadium.
I just realized that isn't there a Houston Texan that went to Alzir?
Aziz Al-Shire.
Shire.
Yep.
He didn't make
it? He did not make it yet. I'm sure he will be, but he was not part of this class coming up. Want to give away some awards from the Rice game?
Let's do it.
All right. The Jeff Van Camp Jay Warren Behind the Line Award. The Jeff Van Camp Jay Warren Behind the Line Award, because, again, thanks to listener/viewer Rich, who said, why would you have a quarterback award and a running back award? Because it's the same quarterback every single week, so he's just going to win the award every single week, and it's the same starting running back pretty much every single week, so he's going to win it every single week. So now we give ourselves more of a pool, if you will.
That makes sense, everything you just said.
Yeah, Rich, he saved the whole podcast, I think. If I went through a whole season of that, then it would make me look really bad, and by extension, you. Jeff Van Camp, Jay Warren Behind the Line Award, Caden Veltkamp. 23 of 33, 290 yards, 3 touchdowns, had an interception in the first quarter, but was able to bounce back. And this is not going to be focused on, because we look at the passing numbers for Caden Veltkamp, but FAU has the ball, what turned out to be their final possession. Rice is pulled to within 6, okay? FAU has the ball inside the 2-minute stoppage. It's 3rd down and 8. FAU's at its own 19-yard line. If FAU doesn't convert the 3rd and 8, they have to punt to a Rice team that carved up the FAU defense on the previous possession. And Rice, even though they didn't have any timeouts, would have had probably a relatively short field, all things considered, that they could drive down the field and put themselves in a position for a game-winning touchdown very, very late. What does Caden Veltkamp do? Quarterback keeper. He realized that there was some room between the tackles, and he's able to brush off a tackle right at the line of scrimmage, and then has nothing but green artificial turf in front of him. Ends up running for 10 yards on 3rd and 8. From there, it was a done deal. FAU would tack on after 2 plays, 1 more first down, take a knee, and it's over. And you get into the victory formation. It's those small plays like that. When you have a veteran quarterback like that, it's maybe a little bit unconventional, all things considered. But when you have a veteran quarterback, and Caden Veltkamp is a big, bulky human being as well. Is he the fastest guy? You can be mobile, but not fast. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, there are non-fast people who are clunky and they don't have a smoothness to him. Caden Veltkamp, he's got a little speed, but he's not the fastest quarterback we've ever seen. Not even close to the fastest quarterback we've ever had at FAU, but he knows how to control his body.
Would you call him shifty?
I think he's a little shifty, but I also, not so much shifty, I think he's more powerful. He's a power runner, and that helped in this instance.
What do you like in his running style, too?
Well,
who do you like it running style to?
NFL-wise?
Baker Mayfield?
Probably. I think Baker's got a little more shiftiness to him, but Baker Mayfield and Caden Veltkamp is bigger. He's bigger than Baker Mayfield, but he runs. He'll run India. You don't want him going around the edge, which he's tried to do a couple of times. If he runs between the tackles, I think that it's a better situation for him. And the man who saved the podcast, Rich, you're welcome. Thank you. The tight end, linebackers, and quarterback all played well. You can finally give out a tight end award. Now we need to get a running game, as you said on the day after show. Rich, thank you. Appreciate that. Let's go ahead and talk about the run game for a moment, because JJ weighs in. Thoughts on the running game? Yeah, Jamari's hurt, but even when he's in, it doesn't seem like we can move the ball through the run game. Yes, the run game is still trying to evolve. I don't want to say that it's work in progress, because I don't want to start sprinkling this unrealistic. If it is unrealistic, put out fake optimism. That's probably a better way to put it. I mean, Zach Kittley has talked about it often. We got to get the running game going. It's got to be better. I also think that it's a little bit unfair to just mention the running backs in this discussion. Jamari Sands, Xavier Terrell, Caden Shields-Dutton. I just don't think Caden Dutton-Shields. I don't think it's fair to just mention the running backs. I do think that the offensive line has struggled as well as they played. This was their best game of the season when it came to pass protection, right? It was their best game of the season by a lot. Robbie Lestella talked about it yesterday on the day after. Best pass protection game for the O-line, but the run blocking just has not been there. And
there are no explosive runs.
No, and there's not many holes to get through. Like, Sands is shifty. He'll wait and pick a spot. I take that back. Xavier Terrell is shifty. He'll wait, take a spot. But Jamari Sands, he's a north-south runner. And if there's holes there, he's going to ding these defenses. But there's just not a lot of room to operate, and that's the biggest issue with the run game. It's not the capability of the running backs. Like, you all remember last year at Tulsa, Jamari Sands and Xavier Terrell ran all over. Larry McCammon ran all over Tulsa. It was a historic offensive performance for FAU. So I think it's pretty clear that the running backs are capable when they get room. I think that's the biggest indicator that the offensive line needs to continue to improve.
Well, Terrell had 20 carries for 70 yards, 69 yards?
Xavier Terrell is not supposed to be the bulk back, and I thought, all things considered, he did a pretty good job being the bulk back.
Yeah, I mean, you average 3.5 yards a carry.
Yep.
I mean, I guess, you can do the math on that, but it seems as if we've got to make sure that our O-line is just winning those one-on-one battles up front to open up those holes. You got to, as they say, put your butt in the hole and turn.
Yep. Yeah. No, without question. So it'll be interesting to see how this progresses forward, because Night Owls has the observation on the run game. Like, this is not what I want people to understand, whether you're listening or watching, but you talking to me, Damon, this is not nitpicking. Like, this is a legitimate concern.
Right.
This is a legitimate issue that I'm going to ask Zach Kittley on Thursday at the Coaches Show. How does this improve? How does this evolve? Because against UAB, I mean, it's going to be passing all night long. These two offenses, UAB and FAU, they want to pass. They want to continue to pass, and then they want to pass some more. But just looking ahead, I don't want to look too far ahead and pay more attention to USF than I need to. But you are going to have to, and I mean have to run the ball against USF in 2 weeks' time.
Well, let me ask you this, Ken, and I don't know if this new age of football where it's coming more of a passing sport, but I've been told and taught the new age is that, the 100-yard, 120 average yard running back.
That's winning football.
It's winning football, but it's kind of obsolete now.
You can win without it, but you can't win a championship without it.
Now, let me ask you, do you think that you need those yard gains, or you need to run the ball when you need to run the ball? For instance, if you nursing a lead, you need to be able to run the ball during those moments. When you're 3rd and 1,
yeah.
You want to be able to call a play.
But
you may not come out the game with 150 yards rushing, but are you running the ball when you need to run?
That will never change. Yes, you absolutely have to. And I found,
which one would you prefer?
To be able to run. Yeah, I think the ground game makes a difference. When Lane Kiffin came in, for example, there was a lot of discussion about, how creative is that passing game going to get? I mean, this is a guy who was the offensive coordinator for Matt Leinart. This is a guy who has coached quarterbacks across the board and had success with them. But what was the best part of the FAU offense in 2017? The mere existence of Devin Singletary. The reason FAU went undefeated in conference play and won a championship was that guy with the number 5 on his back.
And a lot of people may have heard that old saying how football is the ultimate team game. And that's part of the reason why, because everything complements another. It's hard to pass the ball when you don't have a run game, and it's hard to run when they're not afraid of the pass.
Listen, FAU is going to throw anywhere between 45 and 60 times a game. That's already written in the stars.
Right.
It has been cast in iron. It's going to happen. But it is those other 20 to 25 plays where you run it, you based on the talent that FAU has in the backfield, they should be able to hit 100 yards every single game. I firmly believe that, and I believe that Zach Kitley believes that as well.
And I'll tell you something else that may go into the play. When you have capable backs, as you're mentioning, the O-line is a big part of that, and also play calling. When are you running these plays?
Well,
in what situations are you running the play? I mean, are you running the play into the teeth of a defense as expecting a run, knowing that you may not have the bodies to move people like you should?
I would say this, though, just the response to that. If you're in a 3rd and short or even a 4th and short, which FAU has found itself in a couple of times this year, you hope that the offensive line can impose its will, right? Like you like to think that they can get the leverage and they can push the bodies forward. But again, that is the offensive line.
Do you think that we can do the tush push? I know it's for the birds, for the eagles, but we're a bird. We
don't even bring up the tush push because that should be banned.
No tushy pushy.
That's not football. That's rugby. And they're offside or committing a false start every single time they do the tush push.
It's working for them.
Yeah.
I mean, let's do the tushy pushy.
No. Out of the full integrity of the game of football, if you want that, go to Australia for Australian rules, or go to England or New Zealand for rugby. But me, Ken LaVicka, will not co-sign with Damon Arnette anything involving the tush push. I will not do it, and I think it should be banned from the game of football.
Wow. So we're 4th and 1 against South Florida, and we need a first down to win the game, and the tush push is automatically something that's going to give it to you.
How do you know? How do you know? How do you know? How do you know we're going to? Because here's what's going to happen. If we go for the tush push and then we don't get it, then it'll be, oh, my God, FAU instituted the only failed tush push in the history of football. Not happening. Not happening.
We can do the tush push, man. Come on.
You know what? We'll continue to talk running game here in a second. I just want to get through the rest of these awards here. And, again, continue to hit up the chat. We're going to get to all this stuff, I promise. I just want to make a little bit more of a dent here in the post-Rice Awards. The Alex De Leon Tight End Award.
There we go.
This is pretty self-explanatory here. Michael Kirch, 4 catches, 82 yards, 2 touchdowns, including just a beautiful route up the seam on FAU's opening possession, where Caden Veltkamp had a little bit of pressure late coming up the middle, and he stood in there like a future pro, and he winged it over the middle with a ton of velocity, and Kirch doesn't have a defender within 5 yards of him. A beautiful hands catch, and he simply just absolutely, he could walk into the end zone. He didn't walk into the end zone. He also didn't pull an Arizona Cardinals drop the ball before the goal line type situation that we saw yesterday against the Titans. But that was as good a quarterback to tight end hookup that FAU has had since Harrison Bryant was in an FAU uniform.
Well, what you hope is that they're starting to get on the same page and be like our Dallas Cowboys, and so where it be the tight end that Dak Prescott loves to lean on. And they say the tight end is always every quarterback's best friend, is to make sure, especially if you know where they're going to be.
Well, the tight end has quite literally been a disappearing act. It has been absent from FAU's offense since Lane Kiffin was the head coach. I think it was recruited fine, but nothing ever came to fruition, especially in these offenses. Florida Atlantic in the Howard Schnellenberger era, that was the identity of the offense. It was the quarterback picking out the tight end. Like the tight end, this was came in, if your name was Jason Harmon, if your name was Rob Hausler, and it goes on and on and on. Alex De Leon, if you played for Howard Schnellenberger, you were going to put up numbers as a tight end, and you were going to get workouts, at least workouts with an NFL team, and that's been gone since Harrison Bryant.
Well, to me, a tight end is a for sure 3 to 7 yards.
Yep.
And so it's always good to have that safety blanket, if you will, and
and we're going to go ahead and give that
it was
to
tough?
We're going to give that to Assad Wasim. It was tough because it could have been earned by Easton Messer very, very easily, who had 9 catches in this game. But Assad Wasim had the touchdown on 4th and 5, the 37-yard score on a wonderful throw, a gutsy throw. I mean, that's as much fortitude as you're going to find from a quarterback. Caden Veltkamp, 4th and 5, splitting 2 defenders right along the near pylon to find Assad Wasim. That's awesome. That is awesome.
I got to give an award for this game.
Okay.
And I have to give it to Easton
Messer?
Yeah, I mean, he had over 100 yards pass or receiving on 11 catches. I know he didn't get into the end zone, but throughout all those quarters, those 100 yards allows everyone else to get into that end zone.
So that's why I struggled with it.
Yeah.
I guess what I'm doing right now is I'm taking Easton Messer for granted because he's so damn consistent.
I see you, Weston.
His hands are like pillows, and not like those hard days in. Sorry, days in. And I'll talk better of you if you pay me. But not like those days in pillows. We're talking like Hilton. We're talking like Marriott Marquis type pillows, soft and comfortable on your face.
If he can get it every weekend, give it to him every weekend. I mean, if he's nice like that, then.
And he is, but okay. But it also is a testament, I think, to the depth that is starting to show itself in this receiver group. Messer, Assad Wasim, Dom Henry, Jay Sean Platt, all of them are capable any given week now of beating an opposing defense and finding a ton of space in which to do it. So I think Assad Wasim getting the LeJante Wester wide receiver award is a testament to how many weapons on the edges Caden Veltkamp has.
It can be his turn. He's not wrong, but I see Easton Messi. Keep doing your thing. Okay, I'm giving you your flowers today because you went in triple digits receiving. And if you used to take that away, where would they be, especially when they were making their comeback?
LeJante Wester has the record for most catches for a wide receiver in FAU history. I think that Easton Messer is absolutely going to blast that away and distance himself to a place where nobody in the next decade, at least of FAU football history, is going to be able to touch it.
Did he get the award last week?
Yes.
Okay, so he just broke your consecutive streak of getting the wide receiver award.
Yeah, I'm just like Caden Veltkamp. I'm spreading the wealth right now.
No, it's all deserving. I mean, you want to have that. You want to have tough decisions on who to give your awards to.
That's a great problem to have. JJ, Kirch is what we thought that Brantley would be before he medically retired. Yeah, Brantley, yes, there were high expectations for him. And it's fair because Michael Kirch, nobody really thought this year that he would be someone that came in from a 2 levels below. He came from D2. He was at Division II last year, and he has come here, and he had the most yards caught by a single tight end for FAU since Harrison Bryant had 182 against UTSA in 2019. That 82-yard performance against Rice. And it wasn't just that. He also, on a 4th down, had a 41-yard reception on an in route. And his hands were a concern at the start of the year. Against Maryland, I think nerves came into play. His first ever FBS starting tight end. And he had 3 drops in that game. And one of them, if it wasn't for a Maryland penalty, would have resulted in a Maryland interception. And then he pretty much disappeared for the next couple of weeks. But suddenly, I think some confidence is coming to play. His hands feel a little bit better. That's a really good thing.
Well, that has a lot to do with the schedule, too, now. Okay, so when you start playing teams that don't scare you on paper, so to speak, especially someone like that is coming from a much lower level, trust me, those names on that sheet of paper can tend to intimidate you sometimes. And then when you get out there, you got to let your nerves settle, as you said. And so now we're settling into the schedule now. And I expect big things from these guys as they start to play more consistent ball.
But we knew that Memphis was going to be really, really good, and he came out there and he had one possession where he was able to really make his impact felt, including a pretty tough catch to his opposite shoulder to where he would anticipate a pass coming from, a little sidearm flick from Caden Veltkamp, and he made a great great catch. So he's coming along, and it's very, very positive. I don't mean any disrespect to Easton Messer from a wide receiver standpoint, but Asad Wasim, his degree of difficulty on his catch on the touchdown on fourth down was eye-opening, eyebrow-raising for sure. Let's head to the offensive line. We did not have this award the last couple of weeks, actually. He's been much maligned, and he is a captain. He has not had the greatest start to the year, but the Junior Diaz Offensive Line Award, Alex Atcavage, and he made a winning play, a singular winning play, and this is what I base this off of, in that Caden Veltkamp 10-yard run that I was discussing on 3rd and 8 from your own 19 late in the fourth quarter. He was the one who at his right guard spot had the ceiling block on a tackle that was able to clear the path for Caden Veltkamp. If Alex Atcavage doesn't do that, Veltkamp gets hit. He only gains a yard or two. FAU has to punt, and then all the onus is on the defense after that. But it was Alex Atcavage who won the game as much as Caden Veltkamp did in that singular moment. And he was a big part of the best FAU pass protection of the season for the offensive line. So Alex Atcavage, right guard, gets the offensive line award.
And you know what that ultimately that play is, and you start, and there are others as you've been kind of recapping the game. Those are winning plays and winning moments.
Yep.
And that's what you kind of like to see, especially when a team is making a charge and trying to make it a game late, as they say. You got to respond with winning plays in those moments, and that's exactly the replay that you just went through.
JJ says it was dropped right to Asad Wasim on that fourth down. One of the best throws I've seen. It was certainly the best throw of the season for Caden Veltkamp, and he's had a number of them. That one was elite. That's like, and Chris Robinson did this a couple of times when he was the FAU quarterback in 2019. A couple of throws where you're like, whew, that's pro-worthy. A scout sees that, and he's immediately on the radar. Chris, in response to who does Caden Veltkamp run like? Daniel Jones.
Daniel Jones.
Yeah, Daniel Jones can run it. He led the Giants to a playoff appearance running the ball in Brian Dable's first year.
Is he that
and a
fast?
Playoff win. He's not fast, just like Caden Veltkamp's not fast, but they're very direct. Lower your shoulder. They'll take on the punishment. And sometimes defenders don't want any part of that when the quarterback is big enough. Daniel Jones is big, as is Caden Veltkamp.
Do you like their body type?
Yes. I like Caden Veltkamp's arm a lot more than I do Daniel Jones, but that's a whole separate discussion.
Right. Okay, I'm starting to see it now. You're talking me into it.
Hey,
I'm
you want to know who has the fifth most passing yards in the NFL this season is so far?
Dak Prescott. No, he's the one. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he's tops.
Who is it?
Daniel Jones. I'm not even joking you. Daniel Jones has the 4th most yards of any passer in the NFL this season. How insane is that?
But that just goes to tell you what comes first, the chicken or the egg, so to speak, when it comes to quarterback play in the NFL and being on the right team. Is that what makes the success of a quarterback? Is it the skill set or the scheme and the coaching? So as soon as you take Daniel Jones out of New York, put him with the Colts, you see that he's having a great start to his career. Now you got a rookie quarterback, Dart, in New York, who seems to be skyrocketing on nothing but the ceiling. The ceiling is his floor, as they say. So I mean, it's just kind of it's just amazing how the same coach running the same plays, I'm assuming, or the same scheme, and you get two different results.
Yeah.
Daniel Jones clearly can play football.
For sure. It's also a terrible indictment of the New York Giants. That Daniel Jones has a first-place Colts team. All right, let's get to the defensive side. Ray Ellis Defensive Line Award, and it's going to go to Eric Brantley. He had a sack where he just violently violated Quentin Jackson, the quarterback for Rice. Just tossed him. I mean, absolute suplex. You'd see it in pro wrestling. Just it was nearly a crime. It was a phenomenal effort from Eric Brantley in this game. He had an additional tackle for loss. He had 4 tackles total, a D-line that has not gotten a lot of credit this season, but in the last 2 weeks, even against an option offense, the FAU defensive line has been in the backfield an awful lot. ended up having 3 sacks against Memphis. That's a very good offensive line. It's very hard to get into the backfield going against an option offense, and there were a lot of white and red clad players in the Rice backfield. The defensive line, I would say, since the Shula Bowl, they have made the biggest improvement of any position group right now. That D-line is starting to make you feel like, all right, there's something here, whether it's Najon Barber, whether it is Eric Brantley. There are some guys who are starting to come around.
You can tell they're playing more disciplined ball as well.
Without question.
They're playing more disciplined
And we'll
ball.
get to the one time they weren't disciplined, but I think it's a testament to this FAU defense that they got dinged early for a big play touchdown, and then they locked in. I mean, they were able to overcome it, which I think is extremely important.
Because if you're not disciplined, anybody can beat you.
For sure.
Doesn't
matter what talent there
and this
is.
is all going through these things, Ken, just so you know, much like in basketball, especially last year with the basketball team, you got to go through these growing pains.
Yep.
You got to know it for yourself. You got to fail. You hope you can learn as you win.
Yep.
Okay. But I think that FIU Shula Bowl, as you mentioning, was a eye-opening experience for them on a lot of different levels, and it's good to kind of see them respond here.
Let's head to the Randall Johnson Linebacker Award. And Rich, I have an FAU degree. Spell correct, gone wrong. He spelled his first message incorrect. I'm never going to judge you on that, Rich. Come on, it's fine. Don't let it hurt your pride. We have 3 amazing middle linebackers. They make tackles sideline to sideline. And there are 2 especially that, and Kamari Johnson has had a really good year, and I don't mean to leave him out in this spot, but Leon Hart and Tyler Stolsky are elite linebackers for FAU. Tyler Stolsky is going to get my Randall Johnson Linebacker Award. Stolsky in the second half was active, and he was tough, and he was physical, and he was dominating. He finished with 8 total tackles, 4 solo on the game. He was a massive presence in this game. Now, Leon Hart led the team in tackles. He led the team in solo tackles, but I wanted to highlight Stolsky because he probably could have won this award a couple of other times this year. Tyler Stolsky popped a lot, even when he wasn't making tackles in the second half against Rice. And you saw the apex of his value going against an option offense like this. He was phenomenal. I think part of it is Tyler Stolsky has had a gigantic club on his left hand all year long. He hurt his hand in camp. So he has had...
He broke a bone?
I don't know that for a fact, but he had a significant injury. It would suggest because of that club that he probably did, but I don't know for a fact. But did you watch American Gladiators growing up? You know, Joust when they would stand on the platforms and they would have those sticks on the end, the pads on the end. That club was the size of one of the pads on the end of Joust. I'm telling you, it was cumbersome. It was large. I'm glad you brought up Nitro because that also is my pick for most recognizable and best gladiator of all time. I always thought when I was a kid, too, I would dominate that tennis ball shooting.
It's like paintball.
Yeah,
it was like paintball.
Just dive and then shoot at the target with that bigger ball. I would dominate that. Not so much Joust. I'm 5'6", 5'7", like 130 pounds. Not so much.
You look like the guy that won the wall, that rock wall.
Oh, I would do that in a second. Yeah. But I'd be like, oh, don't touch me. And then they had that one where you would have to, they were dressed up in football gear, and they had a round ball, and you had to put it in the little like plastic cylinder thing before you got blown up. I would not do well at that either.
Next drink's on me, Ken, if you can tell me what night American Gladiators came on every week.
See, this is the problem. I always watched it on Saturday mornings. Because I was young, I was super young. You've got like 9 years on me.
Well, thanks, Ken. Thanks
7.
for
Actually, it's just 7.
Yeah, thanks.
I didn't mean to expose you like that.
I was about to tell you when it came on, but now let's move on quickly before people.
Oh no, when did it come on?
Saturday nights.
Oh, Saturday night. So yeah, I never.
You're too young, I know.
I was. I had a bedtime. I know. The Sherrod Niesman Defensive Back Award. Wendell Fullord, 3 tackles, 2 solo, 2 pass breakups. The rare times that Rice did pass, Wendell Fullord was able to sniff it out. He was a missile, especially in the first half. Showed every reason why he's a captain at that nickel spot. Just veteran leadership. I think that Wendell Fullord set the tone on defense. After FAU gave up the 68-yard touchdown on the third play of the game, Zero came in on the very next possession, and he was hitting, and he was pursuing, and he was fighting off blocks, and I think everybody fed on that, and then that carried over the rest of the game. Wendell Fullord, FAU, I think, was fortunate to have him granted one more year of football, and it's because he got that JUCO slash played at an NAIA school situation. We'll call it the Diego Pavia rule, and he was able to get one more year at Florida Atlantic, and it's good to have him. It's certainly good to have him.
So he's an old senior.
He's an old senior. He'll tell you he's an old senior. The Matthew Hayball Special Teams Award. Matthew Hayball, who was the punter during most of the Lane Kiffin era. The toe from down under was his nickname. He was Australian. So I like to think I gave him that nickname, and I like to think it's stuck. I'm going to bring it up as if it was widely known amongst the FAU fan base. Logan Lupo, but not for the reason that you would think. One, he had another punt where he pinned the opponent inside the 10 like he did against Memphis. He's turned into a phenomenal weapon, and he's made a huge leap from last year in terms of his punting ability. But FAU has had problems on field goal attempts and extra point attempts. A botched field goal against FIU, a botched extra point against Rice, with the holder having an issue with the ball slipping through his hands. Okay. And then the placement never comes, the kick never comes, and it's botched. Logan Lupo was, during the course of the week, apparently slid into that role. He was not holding previously. It was Andrew Nelms, and Logan Lupo was perfect at Rice, including a high snap on Garrison Smith's second field goal, which was a critical field goal, because if he doesn't hit it, or if that operation goes wrong, or if FAU went for it deep in Rice territory on fourth down and didn't get it, after the Rice touchdown that came after, it would have been a 3-point game, and Rice could have potentially gotten the ball with a chance to force overtime with a field goal.
You know what? That brings out a special point. I'm going to make a point to you. Tell me if you agree. The holder and the snapper are two guys that are not allowed a mistake.
Yeah, right. You have to be perfect.
You have to be perfect.
And the snapper.
The snapper and the holder.
And the holder have to be perfect.
Have to be perfect. Even the field goal kicker can miss a few here or there.
Right.
You drop a pass.
Yeah.
You can fumble. But I said you can fumble, but
you have to always give the kicker a chance. And if you can't, as the snapper or the holder, give the kicker a chance, you're the most disposable player on the roster.
That's the only time they know who you are.
Yes, without question.
It's the only time they know who you are, when you mess up.
My broadcast partner, Chris Newbold, on the Florida Atlantic Sports Network. Back-to-back good games for the defensive line. It has been. It objectively has been. It's not just eye test. It's also tangibly, numerically, FAU has been good on the defensive line against who's probably going to be the eventual group of 6 participant in the college football playoff, and then against an option offense against Rice, where FAU has struggled for years and years and years and years.
They're hitting their groove, and you kind of, right around now as we start approaching that midway point, this is exactly the progression that you want to be at, and get this kind of energy and get this kind of momentum going as a unit. I'm sure everybody in that D-line room is high-fiving and feeling good about their production, especially after watching film.
Matthew says, as long as Caden Veltkamp doesn't trip in the open field, I'm okay with that Daniel Jones running comparison. What he's referencing is that playoff year with the Giants. He was in the open field. He had a clear path to the end zone, and then he baby giraffed it.
Yeah, I think the 7-yard line.
Yeah, he just stumbled all over himself, and it was a disaster. And but now Daniel Jones, again, I can't believe this. When I saw it today, I'm telling you, I almost passed out on my living room floor. He is the 4th best passer through 5 weeks of the NFL season.
For now.
But the Colts are good. By the way, shout out former FAU head coach Charlie Partridge, the defensive line coach of the Indianapolis
They're good
Colts.
for now. The Colts are.
Why are you hating?
I'm not hating.
You're being petty. No,
I'm just saying that's the same team from last year. I mean, so minus Daniel Jones. And I think Daniel Jones, as they say in that commercial, they are who we thought he is, who you thought he is.
Here, we'll put it this way with the Colts. We are who they thought they were is Anthony Richardson. Anthony Richardson couldn't beat Daniel Jones in the quarterback competition as a top 5 pick in the NFL draft, and Daniel Jones outplayed him, and now Daniel Jones is the 4th leader.
That's not fair to say that.
Anthony Richardson should have never been hyped up like he was going into the NFL draft. He had the best PR team I've ever seen going into the combine.
So does everybody.
Reporters were literally talking about how he cleaned up the meeting room and how he helped old ladies across the street and how he went up in a tree and saved a cat.
Don't you want your quarterback to do that?
Well, 2 of those things I made up completely, but it was absolutely ridiculous.
But that's what you want out your QB. Well-rounded.
No, but you know what I want out of my
facing
QB?
Your franchise?
No, here's what I want out of my QB: to not be bad. That's all I want out of my QB. Don't be bad.
So you're one of these people with no patience from the QB position. He played 1 year, and now
and he's made of porcelain, which doesn't help either, which is the only reason he's played 1
No
year.
lie.
And then last year he took himself out of a game in the 4th quarter because he was tired. I mean, come on, man.
I can't say none of that, but
yeah, right. Try and come up with something for that, Damon Arnette. That's right,
Anthony.
That's
trying
right.
very hard. But give him some time. Give him an O-line. Give him a playbook that Daniel Jones is operating off of. And why are you going to compare?
I'm pretty sure he had the same playbook as Daniel Jones.
Oh yeah. And then I'm sure you're going to compare a second-year player to Daniel Jones was in the 7th year, 6th year?
Daniel Jones, after last year, was sent to the scrap heap. He was on his road to being a backup quarterback for the rest of time, for the rest of his career, and now he's first place in the AFC North.
I hope this podcast is being recorded.
Sorry, AFC South.
We will play this back when Daniel Jones becomes who you thought he was.
Okay. It'll be archived on YouTube. It'll be archived on Twitter as well. Florida Atlantic Voice presented by Robes Law Group, ROBES, robeslawgroup.com. Oh, I want to make sure, too, download the Robes app. The Robes Law Shield. And it's not just, we have this app and they're going to tell us about Robes and how great it is and how they're going to represent you properly as they always do and professionally. No, the Robes app, you open it up, and I don't know about you, but anytime I've been in an automobile accident, you're flustered, right? And you're like, what's the next step? What do I do here? What do I say? What do I not do? How do I continue here in a manner that's not going to hurt me down the road? No pun intended. The Robes app, step through step, clear process. On that app, if you get in a car accident, if you get in any sort of accident, everyone needs a reminder in that spot because your head's going a million miles an hour. Right there on that app, it will give you step by step by step. Here's what you do. And there's another feature that I love. Everybody knows that, you should take pictures at the scene of the accident, make sure that those are documented. But you also have to give accounts, not just to the police, though, law enforcement when they show up, but you're also going to have the insurance company. You're also going to have your personal injury representation like Robes Law Group. And the freshest your memory is always going to be, and really the only time your memory is going to be at its freshest is right after something happens. So that app gives you the ability, simple questions on that app where you fill in the answers right there, and you'll have those documented. You can go back to them. So if you can't remember exactly where you were, what lane you were in, or where you were struck, or how anything went down, you'll be able to go back to the answers you had to the questions right after the accident happened, and it's right there for you. It's such a useful app. And so make sure, download Robes Law Shield, the Robes Law Group app. Do it today.
I'm going to pull up that app and see if they have any advice for road rage after an accident. Because if somebody hits me,
I wouldn't put that out into the public right now, man. I wouldn't put that out into the public. I'll know that too then.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, but you're the reason why people need
I'm the
Robes app. Come on, man.
See, we're driving business.
That's right. So Ryan asks, does it ever feel weird coming back to Houston after the Final Four? I'm glad nobody's ever asked me that, actually. And
you have flashbacks?
Yeah.
You do?
I will say this right now. I think about FAU losing on that final shot more than I probably should now over 2 years after it happened. Okay. Like it plays through my mind consistently. I would argue that it's one, not only professionally, but one of my biggest life disappointments of the last decade. I'm being completely serious, and I know it's silly, but you as a former player, I know it's easier for you to filter these things and get over it. Me, as emotionally, not only in the team, but as emotionally invested as I was into those players, and then you go through such a long season, and all of us only slept 4 days on our beds during that entire conference tournament into NCAA tournament run. For it to end like that, if FAU got routed by 20 in the Final Four,
you would have been okay with that?
This wouldn't happen. But FAU being literally a tenth of a second away from playing for a national championship, can I tell you something?
Tell me.
I had the opportunity to go to Energy Stadium on Friday to go see somebody. I refused to go there so I didn't have to see the stadium.
Right,
I'm telling you, that's a real, and you can make fun of me, but it is it is trauma. Like, I feel like that's
I know.
trauma.
That's why I'm saying you need help for trauma things. I can't help you with that. You got to go see a professional.
All right, you're right. That's actually great advice. I can't even argue that. 2
years ago.
That was better. That was better advice than you pushing the Ropes Law Group app saying that you have road rage.
Well, hey,
that was a much better job, what you just did to advocate for mental health. It is Mental Health Month.
Well, I wasn't advocating for road rage. I was
You're just admitting to your road rage.
If you have it, then I'm sure I would like to see something that can talk me off the ledge, so to speak.
No, again, that's a professional. That's professional help. You need a therapist for that. So there you go. That's my advice for you as well.
You go. You come in after I leave. We'll see the same person.
You know what's funny? What I love here, and I love Damon, but my thing that Damon said, we'll revisit this in a couple of months when Daniel Jones is no longer the top 4 passer in the NFL. Your thing that I could say, hey, let's go back to in a couple of months is Damon Arnette admitting he has road rage problems. Two different levels.
Okay, well, I have road rage issues. I wouldn't go so far
problems.
as problems.
Gotcha. Okay.
And my road rage issue is when I have been in an accident, especially when it hasn't been my fault. Naturally, if I've been in an accident that was my fault, there is no road rage issue. There's remorse. Okay?
Yeah, you're saying sorry.
Yeah, when I'm sitting at a light and someone just plows into me.
Oh, that's that's not fun. I agree. It's not good.
Come on now. I mean, something's going to stir a little bit.
Especially, I've seen the cars you drive, and I'd be mad too. Man. Damon Arnette living good. One more takeaway from the UAB, from the Rice game before we get to a little bit with UAB. The biggest takeaway for me from this game, other than Caden Veltkamp continuing to play well and Michael Kirch getting the job done, emerging as a really solid tight end, and the defense able to throw haymakers and throw punches and hang in there in the middle of the ring after giving up the 68-yard touchdown very early opening possession, is that the roadmap to 6 is intact. The roadmap to 6 wins is still very much intact. We said last week, these 2 games, at Rice, home against UAB, this was going to determine whether or not FAU could play postseason football or not.
Well,
this was going to be the determination right here.
Who came up with the 6 wins? Why not 7? I know 6 is bowl eligible.
But here, with a program that hasn't made a bowl game since 2019, 6 is going to be, yes, would it be awesome to get 7? For sure. But all of that stuff is aspirational compared to just getting to 6 and getting to the postseason.
And it makes you eligible.
Yeah, and Zach Kitley said in the offseason, like, this program in this area with these caliber of players, you have to at least get to a bowl game every single year. And think about it. That has not been the reality. Lane Kiffin even missed a bowl in his second year as the head coach of Florida Atlantic. Meanwhile, North Texas makes bowls more often than not. Teams that traditionally should be, or at least on paper, should be lesser than FAU. Rice made a bowl game 2 years ago.
Should we be greedy and talk about what type of bowl we're going to?
Who cares? I don't care.
Go to
the bowl
postseason
game,
play.
The bowl game could literally be at Area 51. With nobody in attendance, and I don't care. It's sand and it's missiles and it's maybe alien corpses. I don't care. Like, we'll play a bowl game at Area 51.
Let me ask you this: what if we had the bowl game at NRG Stadium in Houston? What are you doing? What are you doing?
I'm going. But before I go, I'm
go see your therapist.
Yeah,
and get through it. Okay.
Yeah. Now, Aaron says, well, they made a bowl in 2020. I don't count that because every team in America played a bowl game in 2020 because of COVID.
Got a game. That was like an early spring game.
It was such a sham of a season, just like the basketball season. Nothing felt real, nothing felt right, and I don't want to diminish accomplishments because John Jacobs' Baylor won the NCAA tournament in the 2020-2021 season, but nothing felt right about any of that.
Did we win that game? That bowl
No,
game in
we lost
2020?
to Memphis. It's the only bowl loss. It's the only bowl loss in FAU football history, so I choose not to remember it either. All right. UAB. They're 2-3 on the year. They are 0-2 in the conference. They have lost to both service academies. There's no shame in that. They lost at Navy. They lost at home this past weekend against Army. How about this? You've got 2 top 10 passers going against one another Saturday at 6 o'clock. Caden Veltkamp, 9th in the nation in passing. Jalen Kitna, 7th most passing
Is that John
yards.
Kitna's son?
That is John Kitna's son. So they're going head-to-head. It'll be Zach Kitley against Trent Dilfer. Here's the major storyline coming in for UAB. Under Trent Dilfer,
He's the coach there, right?
he's the head coach there. Super Bowl champion quarterback. That's right. You remember, Trent Dilfer, Super Bowl champion quarterback.
Yeah.
Yes.
He was on the team. I mean, I remember. Yeah, he was on the
A
team.
proud Baltimore Ravens world champion.
Okay.
I mean, if
he got a ring.
If Brad Johnson won a world championship as a quarterback, then Trent Dilfer is significantly more acceptable, okay?
Okay, go on. I'm sorry.
But it was under Trent Dilfer. UAB is 0-14 on the road. They have not won a road game in 14 chances.
Do they bust everywhere?
No.
I mean, what's the problem with them?
They've been really bad away from Birmingham. They haven't been much better in Birmingham, but they've at least won some games. But this is another. This has to be for FAU. Like, just from that standpoint,
you should get this one.
Take care of business, but you can't be overly cocky because of that. And this FAU team is in no position to take anybody lightly at all based on where the program is.
Didn't UAB just start having their football team again, like maybe 7-8 years ago?
So it's funny.
10 years ago or so?
It's funny that you mentioned that. UAB went 1,064 days without a road win because, well, the program was completely shut down, wiped out, blasted off the face of the earth. UAB, with Trent Dilfer in charge, has gone 1,045 days without a road win. If FAU beats them in Boca Raton, they would pass the streak without a road win. That was because they shut down the entire program if they lose at FAU.
And that's why I'm like, okay, Trent Dilfer is the head coach.
I will say this, and I am just speculating here, and this is something that you have to account for if you're an FAU coach or a player. I believe that Trent Dilfer this Saturday, his job is on the line. I truly believe that if Trent Dilfer beats FAU, he coaches another week. I believe if he loses to FAU, I believe UAB might fire him. I don't know any inside information, but based on the way things are trending and the way the fan base is completely revolted.
Your take on it?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I want FAU to come out here and get the win, and whatever happens with UAB happens with UAB. We've been through that coaching carousel enough of our own.
Been there, done that.
Yeah, so God bless UAB, whatever Trent Dilfer's future is with them, but we still got to get this win.
Rich, do you think UAB's a must-win?
Well, you just kind of put it out there like that, though, Ken, with all the statistics of the road.
So here's what I'll say about this. Is it a must-win from an overall season standpoint? No. But is it a must-win from a reasonable path to a bowl game? Probably.
I'm going to tell you why. It's
not 100%, but probably.
I'm going to say I don't think it's a must-win, but I think it's a game that you got to start expecting to win.
I like that, actually.
Okay.
They're coming into your house. They've been struggling. You should expect to win that game.
You should expect to win that game.
With the ninth best passer in America.
You got to win those games. You got your confidence level in what you do, not worrying about your opponent, but just knowing what you're going to bring to the table. How competitive and accurate and focused and locked in you're going to bring to the competition should tell we're going to beat the brakes off them.
Is it a must win? No, because FAU can absolutely still get 6 wins. But again, we talked about, I can't shy away from this. We talked about these 2 games being whether or not you were going to fork in the road one way, which was going to be, extremely difficult, treacherous, lots of boulders in your path, snowstorm, avalanche. Are you going to be able to get to that peak? Or maybe that if you win 2, you go that other direction where it's a little sunnier, it's advantageous weather. Maybe you have a mountain goat that leads you, a Sherpa joins you late in the journey. Like, things are a little bit better.
Right,
that's the first mountain analogy I'm sure you've ever gotten as well.
Yeah, it is. Not probably. It is.
You're welcome.
And let me ask you this, Ken. I'm going to put your coaching hat back on.
Don't do that.
No, it's on. It's on right now. This is the Ken LaVicka Coaches Show right now. Okay?
Oh, boy.
What happens? When do you start telling your team this is the game we're supposed to win? When do you start in the locker room knowing you're trying to change a culture, knowing you're trying to create a level of confidence within your team and in that locker room to change culture, to change expectations? When do you start looking? If you're not looking at a game like this, who do you have to play? Okay, they haven't won a game and you're in the thousands of days, as you just said, haven't won a road game. When can we start sitting up there in front of your team saying these are the types of games we have to start winning here at Florida Atlantic?
I think that's reasonable. The more I think about it, I think that's reasonable. But again, at the stage FAU's football program is in, where they won 3 games a year ago and were only able to tally 1 conference win against a team that talent-wise was as good as a in the state of Florida, like 2A high school team. I don't think you can say.
But that don't matter right now. It's a total different team.
No, I'm with you. And Zach Kitley's never going to step into the middle of the locker room and say, guys, I'm like 51% sure we're going to win this game. Like, he's never going to do that. So you're right. Like, I don't think you can take for granted that it needs to be 4 quarters of complete football.
Without a doubt.
Some teams are good enough where they can let foot off gas, right? This team is not even close to in that conversation.
No, I'm not saying that they still wouldn't have to play their best to beat a UAB. But what I am saying is, going into the game, going into this work week leading up to the game, you better be practicing with the expectation to win, not hoping that everything goes right and you will win. There's a difference.
Yeah. I want to get real quick to a couple of numbers that could factor in here against UAB. UAB is 130th in the nation in third down defense. They have not been able to get on the field. They are allowing long possessions. Florida Atlantic on third down on offense, they're 57th in the nation. They are knocking on. They are in the top half of the country when it comes to third down conversions. If you can take advantage of UAB's inability to get off the field on third down, you're going to be in exceptional shape in this game.
So this is just another nugget as to why they should win this game.
Without question.
Must win.
UAB, by the way, as rough as the FAU rushing defense has been, UAB overall, 123rd in total defense. They struggled against Alabama State in their opener.
Can you just keep making my point as to what that message needs to be in that locker room?
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? But you still got to go out there and play the game. You can't just lace them up and put your hat on and go on out there and expect to win. But these areas, we need to start seeing growth. And I'm speaking as a fan perspective, as well as an alumnus. We got to start winning these kind of games if this thing is going to trend to different areas.
Yeah.
We can't lose the Shula Bowl no more. I don't care what the weather is, what the light.
Well, I think Zach Kitley agrees with you
we can't do that. I mean, if we're trying to take steps up, okay, then certain things just shouldn't happen anymore.
Yeah, for sure.
Sure. And that's just me.
JJ, Ken, I think a big part of the run protection is injuries on the offensive line. That doesn't help. Jacavian Noenar and Kayshawn Sapp were out for Memphis and FIU. Keon Rohe was out during Rice. Now, Keon Rohe hasn't really played in an appreciably important moment this season. He did not travel to Rice. Also, the Sanker loss is huge. Yeah, you're right, but all the Sanker injury, Kayshawn Sapp, these injuries happen in camp. So FAU has had
they've adjusted.
The most significant injury is Noenar because he was coming out of camp a starter. Noenar was hurt, didn't play last week. Scarlett Jean slipped into that left tackle role, but you now have your core 5. They played every single snap of the Rice game. They played every single snap of the FIU game. So for me, I don't think that game 5 of the season, and we've seen, again, a positive is the pass protection. It was far and away the best, and the numbers prove it. Pro Football Focus, tangible numbers, that this was the best pass protection game of the year by the FAU offensive line. But this needs to carry over now to the running game. And Jamari Sands, who we only saw for one series against Rice, he's got to get healthy, because having the Jamari Sands bowl over tacklers, that is set off by the Xavier Terrell speed, get around the edge, different pace of back juxtaposition against that. It's important to have that. Xavier Terrell is not a bulk back.
You know, one thing I've learned over my years in sports is that you can't have you can't keep a certain level of play without a certain level of a standard.
Yeah.
So as you're saying, the best level of protection is that shouldn't be no roller coaster. Yeah, and I'm sure the coaches and all them is preaching this and
that
saying
that should be the base now.
Exactly.
Or if you're Michael Jordan, you say the ceiling is the floor.
The ceiling is the floor, man. Come on.
Oh, MJ, I love you, but come on. I wanted to mention this before we wrap things up. Biergarten in Boca Raton on Friday. Make sure to come out on Friday, and it's family weekend. So come out on Friday here to Biergarten in Boca Raton because families are going to be coming in for family weekend, that UAB kickoff at 6. So come in Friday, enjoy their outstanding menu, and they've got live music here on Friday at Biergarten in Boca Raton on Federal, just north of the Boca Resort. And then Saturday, do I have a plan for you?
Uh-oh.
If mom and dad and aunt and uncle and brother and sister, if they're of a certain age, are coming in for family weekend, you know what starts at noon on Saturday?
Tell me.
Beer Fest. Beer Fest here at Biergarten in Boca Raton. So if you want your mom and dad and your immediate family and your extended family to be rowdy and ready to cheer on FAU against UAB and move to 3-3, you bring them to freaking Beer Fest here at Biergarten in Boca Raton. How about that for a Ken LaVicka idea?
That sounds real good.
Yeah.
Can we have a Whiskey Fest nest?
Whiskey Fest?
Yeah.
You can talk to the powers that be are here at Biergarten tonight, so I'll leave you to have that discussion.
Okay, we'll see if we get a Whiskey Fest.
That might be a little sloppier situation at the
You want a rowdy crowd?
Afterwards.
You want a rowdy crowd?
The Whiskey Fest is. So Beer Fest, though, Saturday. It starts at noon here at Biergarten in Boca Raton. Mario Cristobal claimed that the Miami Hurricanes are the state of Florida champions. They beat USF. They beat Florida. They beat Florida State. Mario, I haven't seen FAU on the field with Miami. You can't claim a state championship if you haven't played FAU yet. If you haven't gone against Caden Veltkamp yet.
They're not on that schedule, are they?
Well, Mario, stop making claims you can't back up.
Yeah, you're right, kid.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I'm glad you endorsed that for me.
Let's do it.
So we'll be on the air at 5:30 on Saturday. Myself, Chris Newbold, Mike Marejko, 6 o'clock on the Florida Atlantic Sports Network is FAU UAB kickoff. But I hope you have fun at family weekend. It's homecoming, so there's going to be a lot of people that all of us, myself included, haven't seen in quite some time. So looking forward to seeing everybody out there against UAB. Florida Atlantic looking to move to 3-3 before a rivalry game at USF the following Saturday. He is Damon Arnette. I am Ken LaVicka. And a big thanks to Robes Law Group, presenting partner of the Florida Atlantic Voice Personal Injury Lawyers, ROBES, robeslawgroup.com, ROBES, robeslawgroup.com, and download the app, won't you? We'll talk to you next week. This has been the Florida Atlantic Voice presented by Robes Law Group. Bye-bye.